Hey guys, Rexlent here. Welcome to another Crash Course video, this time for Qingxiao. And let's get straight into it. The timestamps can be found on the video if you want to skip to specific parts. But anyway, this is how she's played. So what you're looking here is the optimal team already given to us in the trial. Mornier, Denya, and Qingxiao. So I'll break this example into two parts. First with Mornier and Denya so that you can get refreshed. And then I'll do Qingxiao's rotation alone because they're not going to survive the full rotation here. So Mornier, really simple. Mornier just 3 basic attack. Forte is full, hold basic to go up. Now you can just ultimate, skill, and just hold basic all the way. Until she does her Forte laser. And then Echo. Now Denya in. Denya in, 1 basic, 1 E skill, ultimate, 2 E skill. And then spam basic all the way until the ultimate is ready again. See, ultimate is ready, ultimate, and echo. And then you switch in Qingxiao. Okay, now let's move on to the next part, Qingxiao's rotation itself. Now for Qingxiao's rotation, her basic attack doesn't require tapping. You can just hold it all the way and she will perform all the combos of it. So let's pretend we start off from Denya and I'll switch Qingxiao in. So Denya, Qingxiao in, just hold basic attack until she finishes 5 hits. So that's the 5th hit. Enhance E, hold basic attack all the way again. Just hold it down all the way. Even this part, just hold it down all the way. She will do her big Forte attack. Once you see this, it means that you're done, and then you can just finish with ultimate. Really simple. Really simple. After that, you can just echo, and then outro. That's really it on how to play Qingxiao, just hold left click gaming. Now let me show you what her attacks actually do. So for the ground combos, she has 4 hits to it. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, a sword drop. And then if you do an air combo, there's 3 combos to it. So if I jump, an air combo, 1, 2, 3. The 3rd hit is a plunge. And notice how on the bottom right, the skill constantly changes depending on the combo I'm at. See, 1, 2, if I press 2, and I press E skill, she goes up. It's a bit like Jinxi in some way, and then whenever you're in the air, you can go into sword flight mode. As long as she's doing an attack in the air, she straight away goes into sword flight mode, and then you can just press jump to go back down again, or use a gadget, or just switch her out. So now you know the basic combo. For her skill, there's 2 different skills. Number 1, when she's on the ground, and she does a skill. This one comes with a big cooldown. This one immediately charges the bar on the left, as you can see. And now I'll explain how the bars work. So in Qingxiao's combo, notice how the first hit is with her instrument. Second hit is sword, and then instrument again. So any attacks that involve the instrument is going to charge the bar on the left, the green bar. Any attacks with the sword is going to charge the bar on the right, so it's the blue bar. So let me just spawn enemies and then you'll see what I mean. I'll just do basic attack. See? Green bar, and then blue, blue, and then green again. Green, blue, blue, green. That's what her basic does. So in the air also, blue and blue, like so. And her E skill straight away gives a charge of green. That's it. So it's really basic. You just need to fill bars on both sides, and then her heavy attack will be ready. Now what happens is when I press heavy attack, she goes into this enhanced heavy state, enhanced Forte state, and then the Forte gauge changes into a giant sword. What happens now is that all of her basic attack and her dodge counter will have 100% increased modifier until the gauge is full. So what you do is you attack until the gauge is filled. You see how the gauge is being filled? And once it's full, her enhanced heavy is ready once more, and that's when you can do her nuke, her Forte attack. So you press and hold heavy, and this happens. Qingxiao will just go back to her base form, and then you just like finish off with ultimate. Now an additional effect in her intro is that whenever she does an intro, her next resonance skill is going to give extra gauge amount. So this is what I mean. I will start the battle, I'll switch her in. Okay, and let me drop down. So see how her resonance skill is shining? If I press E right now, look at how much green gauge I'm getting. So that's extra. That's why for her rotation, whenever she does intro, it's way faster because of that extra bonus. You just need to do 5 basic attack and 1 E skill, and then you're done from intro. One last thing about her gimmicks, you already saw how her combos work on the ground and in the air, and now on the sword. If you choose to fly on the sword, you can also boost with her, just like it was shown in the PV. What you do is you just press and hold jump, and then she'll boost for about 400 meters, just a fast boost. There's a cooldown with this as well. If you press jump again, you'll just plunge. So that's it for Qingxiao. I would say her passive skills are more complicated than her moveset. Like, her passive skill has so much text, but moveset wise, it's really this simple. Just press and hold basic attack, press shiny button, the usual stuff. Alright, so let's move on to her tooltips. Okay, so for what she actually does in the background is that for Qingxiao, when it comes to Tune Strain, she increases the max stack of Tune Strain by 1. So with a team of Denya and Mornier, the total Tune Strain interfered can go up to 4 stacks. She's a very Tune Strain focused DPS. And another huge thing that she does is this debuff called Mind Lock. Basically, anytime Tune interfered happens, she's gonna inflict 1 stack of Mind Lock. And what Mind Lock does is that it's basically a damage amplify buff for herself. So she will deal more damage towards enemies with Mind Lock stacks. So how it works is that the first 7 stacks is going to give 5% additional amplified damage, and then the following stacks after 8 will give 2%. The TLDR is that she's going to get 65% damage amp from Mind Lock at 15 stacks. And then when you have her inherent skill level up, it's going to improve the Mind Lock to give a bonus damage increase as well. So you get 65% damage amp on the original effect of Mind Lock, and another 65% damage increase. So 2 effects in one. All this will happen in the background when you use a Tune Strain team. Qingxiao will just be doing a lot more damage to them. And her performing her enhanced heavy attack is also going to apply 3 Mind Lock. Tune Break also applies 2. And this other effect over here, which is useful for Whimpering Waste, is that she's going to record the enemy with the highest stack of Mind Lock, and then she'll apply it to the next enemy. And that's pretty much it for her passive gimmick. I've basically condensed lots of text into a few seconds of explanation for you. Her ultimate is very simple. It's just straight up damage, the shortest tooltip I've ever seen in a while. So you can tell her main source of damage comes from her Forte circuit and her ultimate, as well as her basic attack. So when you want to level, you can already see the obvious thing to level for her skill would be the 2 inherent skill first and foremost, followed by normal, Forte, and liberation. These 3. Level these 3 to max as much as you can. And then low priority would be intro and resonance skill. For her outro skill, effect also very simple, straight up just damage, nothing else. Now moving on to her weapon gives a huge damage increase in Tune Strain as well as attack, and also defense ignore. If you cannot get her weapon, you can also settle for Chou-Yan's weapon or Camellia's weapon, followed by all the other swords. Now for Echo you will be using Heart of Evil's Perch, 5-set effect, and the configuration will be 4-3-3-1-1 classic configuration, with the 4-set effect going for crit, and just ensure that your crit to crit damage is 1:2. For the 3 cost, you can go for attack element or double element or element, the usual, and 1 cost you go for attack percentage. And since Qingxiao's scaling is kind of all over the place, for the substats you will go for double crit, usual double crit, followed by attack percentage, followed by flat attack, followed by ultimate or heavy attack. As for energy regen, try to go for 120% for comfy rotation. Another thing to note is that whenever Qingxiao intros, she's gonna get this special buff. Whenever she intros, or when she does enhanced Forte, she's gonna get 1 stack of buff that prevents interruption, and also damage reduction by 60% for 1 instance. It's just something nice to have. At least she gets it now instead of being locked behind S1. Now for sequences, S1 straight up gives crit rate increase by 16%. This helps quite a bit with Qingxiao's build because most of the damage comes from her Forte and ultimate, and you kind of want them to crit as well. So first stopping point would be S1, after S0 would be S1. And the stack limit of Sword Light Ward is increased to 2. So Sword Light Ward is the buff that I mentioned earlier, the anti-interruption buff. So this will go up to 2 now. And she also gets this extra effect whenever she starts the combat, 25 stacks of this exercising seal. Basically, once she hits an enemy, all of the stacks will be consumed and perform a 400% arrow damage, and them taking even more damage based on the number of stacks. So moving on to S2. S2 enhanced heavy damage is also increased by 40%, and Mind Lock, the extra damage and extra damage and buff that she gets on enemy, is increased to 25 stacks. That just means a 20% increase in both damage and damage M. And her heavy attack now inflicts 6 stacks of Mind Lock. For S3, S3 is pretty huge. Her ultimate crit damage is now increased by 100%, and also an additional buff that scales to her highest Mind Lock stack that increases her enhanced Forte attack. S4, straightforward, attack increase for the team whenever there's a tune strain shifting. S5 is also a really tiny increase in damage, but it's more of a gimmick where her flight chi cost is now reduced by 30%. S6 is the huge one. S6 gives about 50% damage increase. So targets straight up take 40% more damage from her 2 special heavy attacks, her ultimate, and also Juche Perdition. This is the damage that comes from S1, the extra gimmick damage. Whenever she does her enhanced heavy attack String Blade, she's gonna get these stacks again, Exorcising Seal, equal to the number of highest Mind Lock. So since we already have S2 at 25 stacks of Mind Lock, if you already have 25 stacks of Mind Lock, she's gonna get 25 stacks of Exorcising Seal again, and then she's gonna trigger Juche Perdition again. And then all of this written here is that Juche Perdition will also be scaled from her inherent skill, hitting even harder again. Basically an add-on damage after she does her own basic attack. And lastly, her Tune Strain is increased by 20%. So you can tell that from S1 to S6, it's mostly numbers. There's no huge change in rotation or a shortcut to Forte. It's all just numbers and bigger buffs, more buff stacks and everything. So if you're gonna roll for her duplicates, I recommend S0 R1 first, followed by S1, S3, and then S6. Now, team composition wise, you already saw from the earlier example, Mornier, Denya, and Qingxiao. For Denya, don't forget to set her to Tune Strain mode. If you don't have Denya, you can also replace her with Linne. Linne also set to Tune Strain mode. I believe Linne also just got her rerun, so most people should already have her. If you have neither Mornier or Denya or even Linne, the Lahai characters, you can cope with also Shorekeeper and Sanhua, followed by Qingxiao. If you have Shakona back in 2.0, you can also use her in the team. Otherwise, she works best with the Tune Strain type characters. But yeah, that's about it for the guide. Hopefully it has been helpful to you in understanding how to play Qingxiao. And I also have other guides up here, you can check it out. Consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.